Hello, and welcome to another Contemplative Living, where we talk about concepts to bring contemplation into our everyday lives. You know, Spirit once said to me, keep the wisdom and shed the limitations. Peace, love, understanding, and respect. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about self-respect and respect for others. So let's get to it.
Welcome to Contemplative Living, where we view contemplations for the week to have a better understanding of our spiritual paths. This is Contemplative Living with Dave Bennett, contemplations and reflective meditations.
Oh, you caught me sipping my coffee. Well, that's kind of part of it, right? We have to take care of ourselves. We have to respect ourselves in order to be able to respect others. So, developing self-respect and respect for others in life requires being open to whatever presents itself. Being open is just so critical. You know, a lot of times we close ourselves off. We develop this rock solid view of the way everything is supposed to be, and it's all supposed to fit in our view, and we don't allow ourselves to be open to other views and to other ways of thinking. You remember the old adage, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Well, there's more than one view. There's more than one way to approach a subject. There's more than one way to live life. And so to be open and also to allow others to live their lives. Not everything has to fit into the model that we've so rigidly constructed. We need to be a little more flexible. We need to be able to expand ourselves so that we can continue to move forward. In this life, our education never ends. So we need to be open to new things so that we can allow them into ourselves so that we can constantly grow and expand in this life. Part of our experience of happiness and suffering results from our interactions and relationships with others. So if we're being so rigid that we're not open and we're not allowing ourselves to see other views, it can result in a lot of suffering. It can result in a lot of angst and anger and frustration. But knowing what is yours and knowing what is theirs or the situation at hand allows us to see it clearly. It allows us to rise above the circumstances, and so that we can maintain our joy, maintain our happiness in everything that we're doing. So part of our experience of happiness and suffering is linked to the interactions that we have in our everyday life. But the secret is to not get swept away with the circumstances and to maintain that joy, that love, that interconnectedness within our true being, within our true self, and bring that into all of our interactions. And we can move slowly away from the suffering and live more in a state of happiness. But with peaceful reactions to each experience, we create and reduce karma that will color our future. So imagine living a life where you are connected to your true nature, your true self. And every interaction that you do, you use that connection. You use that insight to bring more of life into every interaction. Can you imagine how much karma you would reduce? Can you imagine how much good karma you would build if you worked that way? If you didn't allow that, passionate side of ourselves sometimes. Well, passion is not a bad thing, but to allow it to sweep us away a lot of times puts us in a situation where we're not thinking clearly. We've lost our connection sometimes when we get so passionate and so far off that we're misaligned with our true nature. And so can you imagine if everything we did from that peaceful center within ourselves? And can you imagine how bright your future would be if everything you did came from all the work that you put into this life, came from that source? Shifting focus from me to we is one essential resource for our own self-respect and the respect for others. When we stop living within our own orbit, when we stop being the center of the universe, and we start to include and become a part of the greater true universe, we see it's incredibly humbling when you start thinking of how minute we are in comparison to the entire universe. And when we start to think of we instead of me, it expands our horizons. It helps us to open up. It helps us to interact from our true nature. And it's a huge resource within our toolbox that we can pull out. And once we start using it, it becomes more and more of a discipline, of a habit. And we start to interact more from that we concept instead of just the single me. Respect offers a way to connect and find a way to think more collectively. I was talking recently with a friend. I was doing some volunteer work and I was talking to a friend. And one of the things that we were discussing was, it appears many times in a lot of circumstances that we've lost the ability to negotiate. And what I mean by that is true negotiation respects the person that you're maybe debating with, all right? You have a true respect for them, and you respect their view because we're trying to be open, correct? So we're trying to be open, but we may not agree on a path forward. So in that situation, we debate. We debate in a way that we respect each other's opinions. We don't demonize. We don't think of them as something less than ourselves, because we have that we concept, that we are all in this together, and that we want to find the best outcomes for everyone. And sometimes it's not a single outcome. Sometimes it's multiple outcomes that we have to negotiate toward. So instead of a single confined my view outcome, maybe it can be multiple outcomes that fit other people's perspective. And we can bring those all together into a family of outcomes that benefits everyone. So Respect offers a connection and to be able to find that collective universe of thought. It allows us to think in a broader scope, that it's not just about us, that it's about humanity. It's about the way we are living our lives and the way we want to live our lives. It's about the direction that we want to go in. So contemplative insights and wisdom have the potential to change human consciousness for the better. And what I'm trying to say here is, when we start to treat each other with respect and we bring our true nature, we bring our own contemplative insights into our interactions. And as we do that, we're bringing our true nature's wisdom into all of what we do. And as we do that, we start to help human consciousness to grow and to change into something so much better, so much brighter. And I encourage everyone to point steadily at the inherent respect that we possess for others, and use that as our North Star, our guiding star. If we understand who we are, we develop self-respect. And once we know who we are and we've developed self-respect, that, we're none of us are perfect, but we don't have to beat we don't have to beat ourselves up. We can be present, accept that, this is who I am, I'm working on it, and allow ourselves to move forward, but maintaining that self-respect and then extending it to others. Extend that respect to others so that we can be totally present, totally authentic in everything that we do, and being compassionate and understanding so that we can get the work done in this life. We can start to move forward and break away from this stagnant pattern that seems to pervade our culture and our world these days. We need to move forward, and the time is now to start doing that. And I hope that you have a very, very blessed week. Namaste.